Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky. I am a living Christ. Today I should like to speak to you about truth, the life, and the way of Christ. It is not what you have been led to believe, what you have been conditioned to believe. For belief is a matter of satanic illusion, a representation of that which is. And that which is truth, love, oneness, wholeness, completeness. Now, I want to clarify a few things about why I seem to rub people the wrong way in their viewpoint. What I am doing is speaking truth. You see, that's non-dualistic. That's what is. That's what true love is. The oneness of being, where duality ceases to be and oneness emerges. However, it does not come about without a great deal of travail. There are many people who have followed my lead in the beginning, but as they get closer to me, they feel the fire of truth. You see, that's the difference between me and all others who seem to follow the spiritual path. I'm talking about the charmers out there, the salesmen, the entertainers, those who apply to the ego. You see, the ego is the satanic force of division that fuels the fires of hell. It's the nature of the hypocrite. Now, these are words, and I must use words to communicate with you. However, those words will carry definitions that vary, and that's the source of all of the contradiction and violence that we experience and we call civilized life. Civilized life is hell. Civilized life is a lie. It's a deception. It is responsible for all of the wars, the killing, the insanity that goes on in the name of civilization. It's the nature of a conditioned intellect. And that intellect is formed as children. It's conditioned into them by the parent, who is widely unbalanced, although they are caught in the throes of pretense, duality, acting out one thing while believing another. so they don't see it themselves. They see themselves as good people, yet their lives are full of contradiction. Well, contradiction is sin. That's all it is. Life is very simple, as a matter of fact. If one is whole, holistic, holy, complete, at one, that's the nature of a Christ. That's the nature of oneness. There's only what is. That's truth. The energy of truth, the holistic energy of truth that emanates in the subconscious mind, the mind of each and every one of you. You see, you and I believe that we are separate. We're not. We are the God of this world, of this incarnation. We're responsible for the quality of our world. Most of you struggle with that. Now here again, I'm using the word you, which is separate from me, but I'm speaking for myself. Most of you in this realm of duality identify with some parts of me. What you're doing is you're understanding that which is within you, that you agree with. But you have been trained to pretend, to separate yourself, to create that division of the you and the not you. That's the nature of the civilized world. And you learn that. That's trained into you. It's satanically trained into you. When I use the word satanic, I'm using that energy, which is divisive, opposing. The nature of conscience. The conscience which separates your conscience, my conscience. Do you understand? There's only what is. That's the truth. In the realm of truth, there is no conscience. There's only what is. Now, many of you have examined that truth in me. That's the difference between me and everyone else that you like. You understand? These are the charmers, the snake oil salesmen, the politicians who would tell you what you want to hear, the priests who will hypnotize you, spellbind you to illusion, to superstitions, through storytelling. These are the entertainers, and this is what you enjoy. You find some pleasure in dealing with people like that because they apply to your ego. Well, I do not. I'm a tough guy to live with. That's why I live alone. Since my wife of 49 years passed away some 12 years ago. I'm a loner. She was a loner. She was closer to the world than I was. I've always been on the spiritual path since the age of 5. It has separated me from my family. And what that separation came from was the truth. My family is a typical Christian, Polish family. They were believers. They believed in the illusions taught them by the religion that they fiercely held to, and still do to this very day. And it is the reason for the alienation, separation, the estrangement that I have with every member of my family. What is it? They've all gone the way of the world. Well, I have been on the spiritual path. That's not just words. Listen very closely, because when you see me talking to someone, anyone, just a matter of time before I hurt their feelings. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to cause any kind of pain. And therefore, I separate myself. I'm a loner. And when I do come in contact with another, I speak truth. I speak the what is. And it soon exposes the hypocrisy of a learned way of lying. These are the people who are successful in life. The lawyers. They're satanic. The entertainers. They're satanic. They apply to your ego. And you seek enjoyment from their attention. But their attention is flawed because they lie. They charm. They lie. They deceive. They manipulate. And you can look at the world and see the product of all that energy of division and charm. Beware of those who have conversations with God and apply to your ego, for that's what you like about them. They make you feel good. But look at the world that you're living in. How can it be if you feel good? You understand? You're living a lie. You're living a deception. And when you come in contact with this living Christ, you hear the truth. And it's not pleasant. Soon your feelings are hurt, and your ego goes on the defensive. And the more you try to extricate yourself from the conflict you're feeling within you, the deeper the hole you dig yourself into. And soon you give up, and you throw up your hands in defeat and say, I am through with you. If you don't play my game with me, I don't want to deal with you. Well, so much for my popularity. That's why I've gone to Patreon. I still have hundreds and hundreds of videos of truth on the internet. And they're there free to all. And there's a price for that. The price is pain. Oh, you can listen to them, and as long as you don't directly involve yourself in that energy, you're entertained. Therefore, you can like all you want, but you're not experiencing that energy directly. And you do that by sharing, by telling the truth when you speak to another. And I'm not talking about just myself. I'm talking to anyone that you come in contact with. For in actuality, there is no any other. There's only what is, and you're it. And so that who you see as an opponent is a matter of your ego, which is split, divided, and contradictory, called conscience. And you must resolve the energies through that conscience in order to act. And most of you try as well as you can to do so, but it never is complete, never is whole. And therefore your actions are fragmented, divided, and lead you into further travail, further conflict, further contradiction, further sin. That's the nature of the civilized world. That's why I don't fit in, and I will never fit in. I have had this spirit of oneness resonating in me back to the age of 5. And my life has been quite rocky. I have left family. I've had no real friends, or those who last for as long as their egos will not give up the ghost. You understand? As long as you wish to continue playing the game of duality, you're in hell. And you will remain in hell until you give up that last spectrum of deception and become whole. And then you can love, because you're it. You are the Christ consciousness. I have been trying to bring that consciousness, and I use the word trying, most of my life, because I've been walking on eggs in a world of duality, and applying to your egos to the point of acceptance until I speak the truth, and then your feelings are hurt. So be it. That's the nature of the lack of popularity, along with a great deal of opposition by the satanic forces which want to keep that realm of duality going, for that's the realm of power. That's the realm of popularity, prestige, wealth, manipulation. Understand? That's hell. I am the antidote to hell. I. Now, the word I itself is egoistic, but it's familiarity. You understand that there's the I and the you. And so the game has begun. Can't be helped. As long as we're on this plane of existence, we must speak words. And those words must be defined. And those definitions are dualistic in nature. So they have opposition beliefs attached to them, which bring about argument and debate. Is that not the nature of hell at work? Duality? You bet. That's why I have taken up the Patreon platform, so that I may speak to you, those of you who truly wish to be liberated from hell. And to be liberated, you must do no harm, and you must tell no lies. In other words, duality must come to an end. When duality ends, non-duality, the infiniteness of consciousness, is let loose. There are no obstacles, no barriers, no conflicting oppositions to what is. That's the realm of truth, the subconscious. And as long as a balance is struck between the subconscious mind, the mind of God, the mind of creation, the mind of total responsibility, and the realm of satanic, dualistic irresponsibility, perversion, conflict, confusion, violence. You understand? As long as there's a balance, violence comes to an end and love emerges. That's the world that I live in. That's the world that you strive for. And so far you have not attained that life of non-duality, of truth. But you keep striving for it. But you also defend your ego. Well, your ego is the satanic instrument of intellect that keeps you from living a life of love, of oneness. That's the nature of this third dimension that we're living in. There are many dimensions. We are all multi-dimensional beings, and we choose to live in this third dimension of illusion, of birth and death. We're beyond birth and death. We are immortal, in fact. We are multidimensional beings. We are the creatures of infinity. I use the word creatures, but there's only what is. That's truth. That's God. That's who each and every one of you are when the scales drop from your eyes. Then you see clearly who and what is. That includes yourself. That's the world I bring to you. The second coming of Christ consciousness. You see, it's always been there. It is the creator of all things. It's the Johnny come along that is the dualistic intellect. That is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. All been said before, but it has not been heard by anyone who lives in their intellect. And the intellect is the arena of conflict that one lives out their fantasy life so that they may come to the realism of the truthfulness of what is, of their subconscious, infinite life. You got the message? If not, join me at Patreon. For these public videos will be coming to an end when enough of you understand that living privately with one another, speaking privately with one another, taking our conversations out of the realm of the public, of the satanic realm, is the way to live. That's what I bring to you. If you want that, join me on patreon.com. If not, take what comes. We're facing some difficult times ahead. We're in some difficult times now with this lie of the coronavirus. I'm 82. I'll be 83 next month. I have all of the health problems, the blood pressure, the high blood pressure, the cardiac problems, COPD, the lung problems. I have all of the factors of that which succumb to the coronavirus. But I understand it's all an illusion to begin with. So I will be leaving you. When? Is anybody's guess at this point. I have no intention of doing away with myself, as most people who have not conquered their intellects do. The slaves who find some success through their deceptions until it all falls apart and they commit suicide. That's not the case with this living Christ. I am beyond that. And I wish to bring you beyond that, to create a new world of Christ consciousness, of oneness, of truth, of love. And for that to happen, the world of duality must come to an end. And cataclysms are of that nature. You can call that population control. But it's nature that's bringing it on. It's not man. This coronavirus is all man-made. It's all political. It's all satanic. And millions of you have fallen for it. That's how many of you are still ignorant of who you are. Well, get over it. Let's get on with life, truth, and the way.